This is one of my tomatoes. They're supposed to be beef steak tomatoes. I found that this year was the first time I've actually planted tomatoes here. And I didn't have any soil prepared, so I thought I would start them in tiny containers and then transfer them into larger buckets and do some container gardening. I've learned a lot from this, that even with a couple of plants in the buckets, there's still not enough room for the roots to expand. They really need a lot of root space. But there are lots of them. There's lots of blossoms coming. It takes a lot of fertilizer and water. They dry out faster, especially if your containers are darker colors. I started these in the house in May, and I should have started them earlier because now that it's August, they still have a long ways to go before the season. And I'm not sure if they'll continue to grow big enough to get to the size you ordinarily see them. Now I do have some found that the ones that were in the shade did do better, even though they need the heat. And they did not follow the stakes I made. They seem to be branching out. You can see how big the stalks are. Now, even after, in the center, thinning out the older stalks, the ones that were damaged, they seem to be growing new plants. Because you often hear about where you should remove that extra top. Now, right now I don't see one, but they take away from the nutrients, the feeder one. So now I'm just watering them for the evening. I find that I have to water them twice a day now. I have some fertilizer in there, solubles. I've been using that in Miracle Grow. But ideally, what I would like to do is plant them in manure, farm animal manure. Those are the best tomatoes I've ever had because they love that constant feeding. So I'm just going to take this one out and water this one. Just let the water run till it goes in. They'll soak up a lot. Now I'm also doing an experiment with tires because of the heat. Now maybe melons would grow better in them, but these plants, they recover really well because when I took them from the small containers, they were not doing well. And for a while they were suffering drought. But once I put them in here, these are only like 2 plants, 3 at the most, and they really went crazy. Now I've put bark in the bottom here, pine bark, so you can see, to cover the roots, because what happens is it dries out quickly in the water. But you can see they're coming here, and you can see somehow they're turning yellow. And that's the first stages to ripening. There's more. Oh, there's a nice one in there hiding over here on the edge. It's getting there. Oh, some more hiding here. It's just, can't even really notice until you look around. There's more here. There's a couple that the birds have got at, but other than that, they're doing pretty good. It's just I think I'm going to run into time before I can get, but then you look at these and just look. It's like cherry tomatoes, even though it is not supposed to be. They're huge bunches here. I'm just not sure if the camera will pick them all up. And here's another plant. It's just like sprouting everywhere with tomatoes, and there's still so many more flowers to bud. So I think they've done really well, considering it's just in the future. I will try to plant them earlier, more fertilizer, and actually make a garden for them. So they do require more fertilizer to keep those leaves full and the fruit growing. Another experiment I tried was growing beans in the tires as well. A couple of tires here, just to try it. And actually I only did one in the tire, just to try it. And you can see like how high, if I zoom back here for a minute, how high those are getting on the side. And the thing about these is, I find, even though this one's small, I think I picked quite a few of them out of here earlier, because there's something like that we just munching on for a snack. But what I found was, because it's late in the season, is the more you pick these, the more they grow. It's just something that is sort of hard to understand. You think, oh, great, they just disappear, but they blossom more and they produce more. But they always say don't pick them in the rain because they'll be rusty unless you're going to eat them right away for packaging. But see, look, the blossoms, the more I picked, the more the blossoms came. So they don't dry out. All that's in the bottom is newspaper. Keep the weeds from coming out through. A little bit of ground and some mulch around the side, and that's it. They survived. And here's another experiment. I was trying out the pallet planting. Never done that before. Again, all started from seed. I had these cucumbers in another container and they weren't doing much, so I put some in here. Of course, one got damaged by animals, but look how much they've grown. Like, this is in a matter of a few weeks that they actually took off like that. Some more beans, some more carrots. Again, like I say, they got the birds and different things got in here when it first started and removed some of my seed. Now, here's a nice lettuce left. I've actually had some of it earlier. I get at these weeds here, and again I'll have to take that out. See another weed here, and this has got to be looked after. What these are peppers, planted again too late. I started them, I don't know, June, and they're just not getting the heat that they need. Although they were so tiny, it's amazing how much they've come so far. And again, I was in here picking these beans, and you can see again, look at all the blossoms coming, more coming. The more you pick them, the more they come, and I've been eating lots. They're great in stews or whatever, or just eating raw like I am now. Other phenomena, I'm sure people have had this happen to them before, but I'm totally impressed. This is a sunflower, as you know, and it grew here randomly. I feed the birds in the winter, and obviously one of the seeds dropped, and it created this beautiful sunflower. And you can see, like, the petals have fallen off, and now in here you can tell all turning to seed. So it's going to make these birds more food. It's just amazing. It's just a gift, and it's amazing how much it grew. The birds have been in here on it, sitting. I took all the petals off earlier last week, but that was a pleasant gift to see here in the yard, and I'm sure the birds are going to appreciate it soon. And it's probably their way of thanking me for feeding them.